Hello everybody, evidence for you here. I'm so sorry guys, I have a confession to make. Earlier today I joined a hangout hosted by God TV Radio. You might know him better under the name Keane. I tried my best to answer their question and explain evolution to them, but they didn't listen. Now they probably will go to the evolution hell. The place where you die and become a fossil. It might be the language barrier or my shortcoming as a fallible human being. I'm so sorry. I really tried.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett Keane from God TV Radio. The title of this particular hangout is Forbidden Fruit. Atheism is a death cult. But that's not all we're talking about. We'll talk about all kinds of different things, and I'm sure Roy will have a lot of different subjects he'd like to point out. The God believers as well as non-believers and folks from all different religions are more than welcome to come in, make their points, and hopefully we can grow together. How's your day been, Roy, as well as others?
Actually, it's been fabulous. 3 days or 3 eves before Christmas. Yeah, 2014. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, fantastic. Yourself?
Well, besides last night, I did have a wonderful birthday cake and all that kind of stuff, but didn't set well with the stomach. Go ahead, Evidence.
Yeah, my name is Evidence for you. Just as my YouTube channel. That's all for now.
All right, so what kind of stuff do you talk about on your YouTube channel, Mr. Evidence?
Well, I've done a lot of videos about G-Man and Richard Raspberry and those kind of people. I try to explain to them that their notion about evolution is false and stuff like that.
What do you feel is the difference between Richard Raspberry and G-Man?
Well, G-Man, of course, is more outspoken. He does a lot of hangouts and that kind of stuff, of course.
What do you feel like you have to explain to Richard Raspberry and G-Man?
Well, I saw this, he just did a video, G-Man, about fruit, forbidden fruit. You call it Fruit Loops or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that we don't have a good understanding about what the common ancestor is. But I mean, the common ancestor depends on where you would like to split the lines. I mean, there are several common ancestors to several different animals, so that was quite funny. At least for someone that understands, say, evolution. So.
Do you believe in species hopscotch?
Species what?
Species hopscotch.
I don't know whether that is.
Well, it's a term I use. Hopscotch is actually a game where you jump from square to square. So when I say species hopscotch, what I mean is that through your common ancestry, as you point out, you're literally jumping from species to species. At one point you were a fish, then you became a lizard, then you became some kind of beaver-like thing, then a rat-like creature, and on and on and on. Of course, it's probably not all in that order, but you get the point. Hopscotch species.
Yeah, but I mean, speciation doesn't occur on an individual level. It's not like a fish jumps out of the water and grows limbs. I mean, you have to. I mean.
Well, I didn't say that it just jumped out of the water, but you do realize what happens to fish whenever they come out of water long enough, right?
Yeah.
What normally happens to a fish whenever it's pulled out of water?
Yeah. And that's the kind of straw man I'm trying to explain. It's not easy.
understand how that's a straw man. I like to fish. Whenever I'm feeling good and my health is allowing me to, I like to go out and fish. I used to fish a long time ago, a whole lot whenever I was younger, and I'll tell you, when you pull a fish out of the water and it sits long enough out in the heat, it don't do too well.
Yeah, that's true. But evolution works. Evolution is such a small, gradual change. So, I mean, think of it this way. I mean, I am the link between my son and my father.
Right.
That's how we can think of it.
Right.
So
it makes sense that you would come from father, son, father, son, father, son. And the father of all would be God.
Yeah. But we are not, we do not look all the same, so to speak. I mean, I don't look exactly like my father, so to speak. And that kind of
hey, evidence. I would contend that that's procreation and not evolution. Just saying, that's my view.
Well, in I mean, in that sense, yes. But I mean, I just try to explain how small the gradual change is. Of course, that's just procreation. But I mean, if you postulate that to, say, 2 billion years, you have a pretty big change, right?
Well, of course, I don't hold that view. It's only been about 6,000 years since my great grandfather and grandmother, who were perfect and beautiful, more beautiful and more perfect than we are today. So we're not actually evolving. We're kind of, sort of de-evolving.
Mr. Evidence, would
I mean, I don't understand this 6,000 year. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, have you ever heard of Adam and his wife Eve?
Yeah, sure. I read the Bible.
That's where my lineage. If I were to go to Ancestry.com and trace it all the way back, it would stop with Adam and Eve. It doesn't go any back. It doesn't go back any further than that, and that was about 6,000 years ago. So your lineage goes back even further than that, is what you're saying.
Yeah. That is what I'm saying, because the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and the universe is even older. So.
Yeah, and I contend that it's only about 6,000 years old. So there's a big gap between your view and my view, and so both of them can't be right, correct?
Well, yeah, that would be.
Yeah, one is wrong and one is right, or they're both wrong. So, would you contend that?
Well, we could be. Yeah, I mean, I'm not stating that it's exactly 4.5 billion years, and I don't think that you contend that it's exactly 6,000 years, but.
Yeah, it's closer to 6,000 than it is 7,000, and.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference between
it is.
billion of years, right?
And I hope you don't pinpoint your God to that, because that is your view about the age of the Earth is actually wrong, and it's not even wrong. I mean, it's hugely wrong.
Mr. Evidence, I'd like to ask you something. If I were to get a shovel and start digging into the ground, and I found a big old nasty dead monkey and stuff from how many years do you think, how would we go about establishing that this creature is your family?
Okay, so we are going to leave the old Earth, young Earth thing.
Well, we can get back into it and everything like that, back and forth. It actually coincides with what we're talking about in the first place. How do you know that you actually came from a monkey?
Well, I didn't. That is another.
Evolution. Evolution states you evolved from rat-like creatures and all kinds of neat things you'd expect.
Yes. But I mean,
evidence. Listen. Listen, we're going to have to work something out here before we continue this conversation. I notice as I'm talking, you keep going, yep, 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 yep. Please don't do that while I'm talking. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, I was just trying to confirm what you said. Okay, I can mute when I don't speak. It's easier, and I usually do that. You're right. You're absolutely right when you say that if you say that we share a common ancestor with chimpanzees, like we do, but you cannot say that we evolved from an ape. That is just what I was talking about earlier. Because if we evolved from something, then it's just like you were born a human, and then you and when you were 50 years and when you die, you're some other animal. That's not.
Okay, evidence. Why do we got to go through this little technical game for? You believe that your ancestors were monkeys. Okay, period. Can you prove that your actual ancestry is monkeys? That's what I'm asking you for.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Can you show me how you know this?
Well, through a lot of things. Through DNA.
Okay, now, if you came from a primate and all these creatures millions of years ago, according to you, remember I told you we'd work our way back to this, then there shouldn't be DNA if millions of years went by. DNA will not last that long.
That is correct.
That is not correct.
Pillbox, you want to tell them about our flying squirrel theory? I don't think that the man's understanding.
Well, we're going to have to say that for later, Brett. It's just too early right now. We're going to keep it really simple. Something that's called a gene pool is pretty relevant. That's why animals, can only go so far. You can eventually get a chihuahua from a wolf, and that actually happens very rapidly. We can literally see generations, every 4 or 5 years, we can see dogs change. But they only stay dogs and wolves because that's what the gene pool allows. And they have similarities between humans and dogs. I mean, more than 50%. But, it doesn't mean that the wolf is going to eventually turn into or a zebra or, a corn stalk. It only goes so far. It's called a gene pool for a reason. I can't get anybody who believes in the evolution to even admit that the gene pool is called a gene pool for a reason. So. I mean, that's, besides the fact that the, farming industry, it's kind of been important for the last 5,000 years that nothing changes into something else. So when they plant corn, it makes corn. That kind of has to be reliable for farmers to keep their jobs. But I don't know. I think it's just a thought process, Brett. It's in their minds. You can't force it out of them. They have to want to find the reality.
Oh, I hear what you're saying there, Pillbox, and I'm hoping that Mr. Evidence can explain to us. I'm open-minded to listen to you, Mr. Evidence, but so far you're like, yeah, I came from monkeys, and there's a few reasons why, but you're not getting down to the meat and potatoes here. Explain how we are to come to the conclusion that you came from a monkey and not an intelligent mind.
I just wanted to go on what Pillbox just said about the farming guy. Could you imagine if you're a farmer and you're like, oh, I couldn't get you the shipment of corn, it evolved. Sorry about that.
Right.
Yep, all you're getting is these pine trees. Sorry.
Well, Evidence been quiet on us, and hope he's not over busy evolving.
Chickens, I think the best thing is chickens. We have millions and millions of chicken experiments. And every day, billions of chickens are laying eggs. And do you know what the chicken egg turns into every time? It's only, 500 million experiments every, not counting probably the rest of the world, the third world countries. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. We do these experiments for thousands of years. We get the same results every time. You can eventually get a Great Dane from a wolf. And that's how they think they got, elephants from octopuses. So.
Is it okay if I speak?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. I will leave in about 1 minute, but first I will just try to explain something. It will probably be the last time I join any to this hangout. You wonder why I was so quiet, and I was so quiet because I wasn't asked anything. You asked me for evidence for our common ancestor, and I gave you the example of DNA, and then some other guy was talking about DNA, and then I never got the chance again, so that's why I...
So is that why you're waiting?
No, I mean, that was quite fine. And I just explained to you guys that evolution does not occur on the individual level. It occurs with now I hear...
Here we go.
Now I hear some echo. Is it okay if I continue?
Yeah, evidence.
I wasn't finished.
Do me a favor. Don't pretend like we don't understand what the concept or
well, yes.
Or we're not 5 years old here.
Yeah, but I'm so sorry, Brad, but you guys act like it. I just explained to you that evolution has nothing to do whatsoever with the fish jumping out of the water and growing limbs, and then you guys started talking about, well, it would be great if we saw crops and we saw corn and we got corn and we didn't get, I mean, a pine tree or whatever. I'm still not finished.
You sound like your feelings are hurt, though. I'm saying, hey, look, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings on that.
No, you couldn't possibly hurt your feelings. I mean, this is
upset about the corn thing.
And then I'm still not finished. I'm just about to leave. I'm just trying to get this through. I mean, you state these superbly strawmans again and again and again, and then you have this, you know, we have chicken eggs.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll help you out. All right, I'll help you leave. All right. You don't need a fucking lecture. All right, now you leave it.
Oh man.
Thank you.
Why do they assume that we don't understand the myth that they're trying to tell us for? We get it. And then they, oh, no, we're not really saying that fish came up on land with arms and legs and all that. Yes, yes, you do. I've seen all your cartoons that you give me, okay? I've seen them. Go ahead.
Oh, just kidding. That's what they meant.
He's one of those ones that, you know, he feels like if he leaves, if he rage quits, gets the last word, he won.